We just finished up this 2022 GMC Sierra. It was originally brought to us actually already lifted. And the customer stated that, hey, it's rubbing the tires inside the fenders. Can you just trim it? Can you look at it? I actually even feel like the truck might be leaning to the one side. So after taking measurements on this truck, it was leaning. It was 2 inches lower in the front. It was actually 1 3/4 inches lower on the passenger side, front corner. And obviously we needed to look into why and what had gone on with this truck. But after we started looking at it, we noticed obviously the front mud flap that's here, I've actually got it laying here, that they had cut this all off and actually had zip tied this mud flap on this truck. And you can see how it's all cut, and you can see where it actually had rubbed through. And then actually you can see right here where they've actually taken a grinder to it to get it to trim it back. And then down here at the bottom, they cut the corner off of it. Not the right way to do things. Here in the suspension, it had a clunky noise in it. Couldn't figure out what the clunky noise was, but you can see the shock shaft in there actually has a bolt in there, and actually you couldn't even see those threads to the top here. It's because the nut wasn't tightened all the way down here, and that's what the clunky noise was on this. This truck was supposed to have a 4-inch lift on this. So after looking at it, had a 2-inch block in the back and a set of rough country shocks in the rear. But in the front, it obviously did not have a 4-inch lift in it because it wasn't level front to back. It did have a drop in the front. It only had about a 2-inch lift in the front, unfortunately. So the guy kind of got a little bamboozled. And, you know, he obviously took it to the shop. And the shop that he took it to said we can do the lift. We don't typically do a lot of lifts, but we could do the lift on this. And, you know, this is one of those cases, I think, that when you're going to lift something, take it to a shop that knows what they're doing and is going to do the right thing to make it right, even if you're spending a little bit more money to have it done right. Because there's a lot of times we get cars back into our shop that have been done at other shops. And when they're done at other shops, they do not take the time to do things the way they should be done, or they cut corners to get the job done sooner rather than trying to get it done the way it should be done. One of the other things is this was all super jagged down the front here. We smoothed this out. It actually had the other extension piece on here where it bolts on, and it was all jagged as well. So we trimmed this nice. We removed the bottom part here. Reason for that is to obviously give it a higher clearance or looking appeal from the front. We pinned back the inner fender liners farther back here to make room for the edge of the tire here. We did trim it a little bit here, you can see down here, but it does clear the tires now. This also has our fender pullback kit in it. You can see it's bolted in here. Those are our stainless steel our black bolts that have been our stainless steel. You can see how it's pinned right up to the frame right here now. So now it clears the tire. We haven't got the mud flaps on it because this fender was trimmed back and is still able to be used. You can see that the fender line is correct on this side down the door here. But when we go around to the other side, they have hammered this back here. You can see right here. It now has interfered with the door down here at the bottom, and it's really tight through here. It does have our fender pullback, so you can see where it's supposed to be because this fender pullback bolts into the frame. And you can see now that this is pushed back where it's supposed to be up in here. So it's kind of been crinkled in here, pushed up. You can see in here it has our pullback kit, pulls it right back to the frame. Obviously, we're going to touch all this up too where it had been rubbing. It's pulled back here in the front so it doesn't rub. We've got the suspension set up correctly. The lean on this truck, what it was from was actually this spring here. You can actually see, I'll set the spring out here. You can actually see the spring is kind of, I don't know, leaned over. It's kind of hard to see, but it's leaned over to one side. What they had done is they grabbed a hold of the spring on this side with a spring compressor, not compressing on both sides, but compressed it on this side and basically squeezed it so hard they actually bent the spring. And this is why the suspension was leaning over on the one side. Here is the other mud flap. Looks like it's completely annihilated. The way they've cut it up and to try to clearance this thing on this truck. And again, this thing they drilled another hole in this thing to put a zip tie in it and hold it back up onto the truck here. I mean, just super sad. Like, it's just stuff that I just can't even believe that companies are okay with doing work like this. But we've got this truck pretty much dialed in. This truck is gonna go to the body shop. You can actually see it's kind of bent in here. It's actually gonna go to the body shop to have this part of it repaired. And then the truck, once we can get the factory mud flaps back on it the way it's supposed to be, it'll look great. But the truck sits now level front to back. It's actually within a 1/4 inch front to rear. Rides really good now. No more broken parts, no more look like chop job. But you know, I just want people to think about when they're getting their car lifted, if a shop's saving you money to do it and they're saving you a bunch of money, they're probably cutting corners or maybe not taking the time they should on the work that they're doing. So always suggest to you, if you're gonna get your truck done, obviously sometimes spending a little bit extra money to get the job done right and knowing it's done right by a reputable company or a company that knows what they're doing or does quite a few of them. So want to share this with you. This is truck looks great now. It rides really good. I just got through driving it and wanted to just share this with you and what your thoughts were. And if you got any questions or even just want to reach out to us and talk to us about, hey, I'm thinking about doing this and I want to run this by you, but feel free to reach out to us, help you in any way. So hope you enjoyed the video and hope this helps. Take care. Bye-bye.